In this video, we're going to focus on how to use the radial gradient for the colors. And the radial gradient is very similar to the linear version. However, now we can create, instead of lines, we could create a circle, and then that would gradually extend. Very similar to a sun, where the center is very strong, and as we go more outside the circle or in the broader part of the circle, you will see eventually it will become harder to see, or at least it will become faded more. So we have this here, and basically it's very similar to the linear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this and I'm going to comment this out. Just paste this all in here. I'm going to just convert this now into a radial gradient. And what really happens here, let me just comment out these first. We have basically 4 variables, or at least not 4, 6 variables instead of 4. So what we have here, this was the x0, the x and the y1, the x0. This is the x and the y, and then here we have the width and the height, which is also, this is the x number 1 and y number 1. So what I want to do here now is basically we have the radial 0, which would be the starting point of the radial, and then finally we have a radial number 1, which would be the ending point. So this part is the most tricky one because it's quite hard to figure out exactly how this works, and I will probably make a separate video for that to go more deeper. However, let's start with some basics. Let's do for now, we're just going to put in a 20, and then we're going to do another one here, let's say 50. And if I save this now and refresh, you can see here what is really happening. It creates almost like a solar light here, or a sunlight effect here. Although this is not really what we want. However, it's very tricky to play around with this. So what we can do here, if I would do this one here, let's show this one, we can probably see even more clearly what's going on. So basically it does something, but not always in the most clear way. So what we could do is, for example, let's change this into something a bit more suitable. I'm going to put 75 here, 50, comma 1 for the radial, because we're going to start at the radius of 1. There's a 90, 60, and 50. What we really do here now is that we make a circle starting at 1 and then having a radius of 50. So if I save this here, get it in here, you can see this starts to look, because the position of it is approximately 75 by 50. So 50 down and then 75 pixels here. If I would move this maybe to 100, let's save that. You can see here it's gradually moved. Let's try to put it in the center here, although it's quite tricky. So let's do 100 by 100 and see if that works. Alright, that gets slightly better. Make this 150 by 150. Save that. So, as you can see, the moment we start to expand too much, it creates an undesirable effect here. And most likely because these are probably too big. So if I do this slightly bigger size, this and this, save that. Alright, so as you can see here, with this, we can play around with the shape, and we can color the specific individual of that shape. But as you can see here, let's make this bigger, see if this will work. Alright, so that looks slightly better. We're getting there closer now. So 150 by 150 will be approximately in the center. But of course, it's still hard here. Let's say this is 300 by 300 and see what then it will do. Not really exactly as expected, but as you play around with it, you can do more. And if I just remove this, you will see that the gradient effect will be very nicely in the center here, and then starts, as it goes outside of it, it starts to adjust. This is one of them, and it's quite tricky to understand this one, but I would suggest here to play around with this so you can get the right shape that you want.